How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Black Bart Gaming, and welcome back to another Lost Ark video. Now, in this video, we're going to be going over my in-game Paladin PvE build. This is going to be very support focused. I'm not going to be doing a DPS build anytime soon, but if you're looking for a very good support build, this is probably going to be one of the best, if not the best, support build for Paladin. Now, we're going to do this video in two parts. We're going to start off by showcasing the skills, some of the runes, and we're going to talk about how the skills work, and then we're going to go over to a dock and we're going to go over like the other things like the engravings and things of the sort. But before we dive on in though, don't forget to like as well as subscribe to the channel, and yeah, let's dive on into this bad boy. So first we're going to just go over the skills one by one. I'm going to give you a visual representation of it and then move on that way. So the first skill we're going to be talking about is called Executioner Sword. And this ability is going to be your primary counterattack. It's a stagger, and it has weak point on it. And one of the best things about this ability is it has a lot of versatility, and it can be used in a lot of different ways. So if you're playing against enemies who are that needs to be destroyed, like their destruction, things need to be broken, you can switch to weak point enhancement. If you just want more damage, you can go Challenger Will, and then almost all of these in the top, quick pace, stigmata, or excellent mobility actually really works. I use quick pace because I like to reposition a lot, and I put overwhelm on this. You can get this legendary overwhelm from Anguish Isle by doing it daily. It shouldn't take you more than like a week to get it, but I like to use overwhelm on this, and it gives you so much utility and versatility with Executioner Sword. So we'll hit it, show you how it looks. And it's just a front attack, easy to hit counter attack, and it'll give you move speed so you can reposition really well. So next skill we're going to be talking about is Holy Sword, and this one is actually probably his best skill. It has really high stagger on it, it has frontal attack, and it has counter on it. Now the way this one works is you'll just shoot the sword forward and a beam of light will come out if you kit it the way I kit it. And I kit this bad boy with positioning because I like to have a little bit more charge up time. You can go with stigmata if you want a little bit more damage, but I don't think it's really needed. You want outburst of light because this is going to make it so that you can cast it from a range and be effective, being able to land your counter and be fairly safe when you do it. And then we're going to hit it with release light. You don't really go Kadis energy. That's like a PvP. Well, that's more of a like damage thing. But this one is going to be really more reliable, and it's going to help have you like have a higher uptime on the ability. As you see, I can just shoot it from here and be able to hit them from like pretty good distance. And yeah, that's going to be your second blue skill. Now next we're going to talk about charge, and this one has really high mobility on it, and it's really good because it's just like really low cooldown. The way I kit it out is going to increase your move speed, but it's like one of the best skills. It's super cheap and it's like easy to land. So we kit charge out with, where is it? We kit this one out with rage. I don't remember where I got this rage from, but I like rage because I'm already using this skill as a mobility skill, and whenever you like use the skill, it gives you more mobility. So you're gonna use it as a mobility skill, and it's gonna sometime chain into another mobility. And that's pretty much it. It's really cheap, 4 points, good to go. Now our next skill we're gonna be using is called Holy Area, and I get a lot of mixed reaction from this skill, but I think it's really good. Now what Holy Area is gonna do is put an AoE on the ground, and if allies stand in it, it's going to give them like damage reduction taken, and then it's gonna hurt the enemy that stand in it as well. So we're gonna look at how I kit this one out, and I kit it out with quick preparation because we want a higher uptime, grace, which is gonna give you that damage reduction, and then endless grace is gonna charge your piety meter faster, and it's gonna increase the radius, making it easier for your allies to stand in. You just got to be aware of like your team. Most of the time your team is probably going to stand at their back, and you can just cast it on them. It's real easy, fast cast, and it like synergizes well with most DPS classes, and it's really good protection. So really good skill. I like to use it. Some people hate it, but I love it. So next we are going to be using Wrath of God, and this one is going to be your primary way of buffing your allies to deal more damage, and obviously it looks really good. So we're gonna kit Wrath of God out with wide Thunderstruck, and this is gonna make the AoE bigger so you can just land it. You can go Faith or Thunder. I like Faith because I want to charge my piety meter as fast as possible because I am support. And then we use Express Fury. This is going to give all party members 15% extra attack damage, as well as 6% sorry, overall attack power. So it's going to be a really good way of just giving yourself a ton of damage and giving your allies some good damage. And then you have some pretty good AoE on it. And it does really good damage overall, so really good ability. I'm going to skip over these because I want to make a point, and that is we're going to be using Heavenly Blessing. And Heavenly Blessing kind of serves as the same thing as Wrath of God. It's going to be a good buffer for your team, giving them 15% more damage. It does exactly the same thing, but the difference is you don't want to stack these two abilities. You don't want to stack Wrath of God and the Heavenly Blessing because they don't stack. So just try to be mindful of that. You do put Agile Cast on it because I don't want to like get canceled. And then Absolute Blessing is going to give party members mana, so it's going to be a little easier for like your sorceresses or just anyone who uses a lot of mana. And just a visual representation of it. Boom. It'll deal damage. It'll put the blessing on everyone in the area. I mean, I don't even think it matters the area. I just think it goes to them. But yeah, it's really good skill. Next, we're going to be talking about God Sent Law, and this is, in my opinion, the best like overall skill on his kit. And let's see how I kit this one out. I kit it out with Shield. This is going to put a shield on allies who stand, well, when you cast it on top of them, it's not like retroactive. You have to cast it on top of them, and then it'll put a shield on them. I use Wide Angle, but you could use Brilliant Law. It's really good. It puts a debuff on the enemy, making them take 10% more damage. And it's really good for like really good synergy because your allies are going to be on top of them and you're going to put it on top of the boss. It's going to take more damage. Really good. But if you have a hard time landing it on the boss or like protecting your allies with it, you can get Wide Area and just get defense because you have a lot of buffers with Heavenly Blessing and Wrath of God. The last thing you're going to get is Grace. It's going to reduce incoming damage by 70%. And this makes it so no one dies unless it's like a mechanic that ignores this. You're going to have a health shield, and then you're going to have 70% damage reduction. No one usually dies when this is cast, so just keep that in mind. And the rune you're going to put on this bad boy is going to be Galewind for now, but you just want cooldown if you can. But I only have a Galewind right now, but just get cooldown if you can. And for the last one, I didn't talk about Holy Area. I want quick recharge on this one because it's actually a pretty low cooldown skill. It casts like very quickly, and I want it to reduce the other skills cooldowns by 8% when it's used. So I think it's really good. But you want a higher version than rare because it's got, you know, higher cooldown reduction, really nice. You want to keep the uptime really high. And so yeah. Really good skill, must have. God Sent Law is a must have. Blessing is a must have. And then the last must have, in my opinion, is Holy Protection. And this one is super crazy. It gives move speed when you kit it with Quick Pace. It gives a free debuff. Well, it removes a debuff from your allies. And then Vow of Light will give you your allies a heal, including yourself, because it's going to be cast on yourself. So you have a cleanse, you have a heal, and you have move speed, like, and you have a shield, of course. So like this ability is like kind of crazy in my opinion, and it's like really good. So must have, must use, 10 points every time. Build it this way. I don't really see another way you would ever build this. Maybe Swiftfinger so you don't get canceled, but otherwise quick pace. And I always put like Galewind on it because I don't like it getting like canceled out. So, but that's just me. Last but not least, it's going to be Alatini Judgment. I mean, this one's kind of a no-brainer. It puts a barrier for 80% of their max HP as just shielding, and it just keeps your team alive. It looks really cool, and it does pretty decent damage. You can just see it here. Really amazing ability, and I don't know, just very core to the build. Most of the time when it comes to like your piety meter, you're going to go Blessing. Almost never will you go Sacred Executioner because it just doesn't synergize with your like engravings and stuff. which we're gonna go into next. But yeah, these are the skills and the abilities. So let's move on to the other things. All right, so we are on the build website, and we're gonna do this one a little different. We're not gonna go into like the gear because like we don't really have a stable gear set right now, in my opinion. A lot of us are kind of a little bit mixed right now, but just get the best you can. I like to prioritize move speed, and you'll see a lot of that in this setup. But I'm gonna talk about the stats, and first we're going to prioritize swiftness. I don't really have a number value to give you because again, gear is kind of like weird right now, but priority is going to be swiftness followed by specialization, and then if you have to get something, get endurance, because it does give you like defense, physical, magical defense, more healing, and more shielding. So it could be pretty useful, but you want to prioritize swiftness followed by specialization because it works really well with your like holy skills and the charge of your piety meter, and then endurance if you have to have a third choice. Gears, whatever. Now engravings, we're going to talk about these, and number one engraving that needs to be maxed out is Blessed Aura. It's going to give your allies, whenever activated, it's going to give them 20% damage reduction, and it's going to restore 2% of their max health per second every 1.5 seconds. And this is going to give your team like super heals, super defense. Naturally, the ability will give 10% increased damage, so you're giving them a bit of damage. You're like super supporty in your healing, so super good. Now the next engraver you're going to get is Expert. Now it's going to increase your shield and your healing effectiveness, and then whenever the health get below 50%, you get an additional 12% on top of the 24% that you get, for a grand total of 30% increased effectiveness on your shielding and healing. In my opinion, this is a second most have ability. I mean, you gotta have it. It's really good, and it synergizes well with your kit. For the third engraving is going to be Awakening. Awakening just reduces the cooldown of your ultimate, and if you use your ultimate a lot, you're going to have a high uptime on your shields, and it's going to charge your piety meter fast, which means more uptime on healing and reducing damage. So it's really good for the paladin overall. For me personally, I choose Spirit Absorption as my my fourth, because movement speed is king in my opinion. I prioritize movement speed over a lot of things, because if you move fast enough to get out of the way, you never get hit, so you don't need defense. So that's my logic behind it. Spirit Absorption must have really good move speed. The attack speed's fine, but mainly for the move speed. And finally, Drops of Ether. Now, I originally was kind of reluctant about this ability, but Drops of Ether is actually really good. It has a 20-second cooldown, and you will drop pretty much ether around the map. It'll give like defense, move speed, attack speed, stuff like that. And then your allies can like pick up the orbs, and it can give them like extra buffs. And it's actually really insane. It gives a lot of good damage. So it may seem like ether is whatever, that's like leveling up stuff, but it's actually really good. I don't have a sixth thing because I don't really think anything here is worth a damn. Like, you can maybe go heavy armor, but move speed kind of solves that by you not getting hit. So that's going to be it for the engravings. Last but not least, let's go to the cards. And I prioritize the set called Romanticist because it gives move speed, mobility in general, just pure mobility. So dodge cooldown is reduced by 10%. When using a dodge, there's a 10% chance to reset the cooldown. And then move speed. Again, you're going to see a very big theme here. I go swiftness, I go move speed, spirit absorption. There's no such thing, in my opinion, as a need for defense if you just never get hit. And that's like how I like to play Paladin. I just don't get hit. And if I do get hit, I have a shield on. So that's my logic. The last two cards are going to be from the field boss set, but this is kind of like open for like whatever you want. Like if you're fighting a boss that does earth, like get the set that gives earth resistance. If you're fighting the dark guy, get the one that gives dark resistance. But these two are kind of open for whatever you want. I just have the field boss set for the HP, but yeah, just keep in mind you can keep this kind of open to what you want. And there you have it, guys. That is my Paladin PvE build. It's pretty good, really good versatility in it, good damage, good buffs, good debuffs. It's just overall really good, and you can pretty much clear most content in Lost Ark with this with no problem. Now, with that said guys, don't forget to like as well as subscribe, and leave me a comment down below if you agree or disagree with this build, what you would change, and like if you've used something similar to this build, or if you would like actually watch it and like come back. Let me know if you actually like the build and how well it's performed for you in PvE content. And with that said, thanks for watching. I will see you in the next Lost Ark video. Later.